I was introduced to you about a year and a half ago, and when I thought I was really onto something. I feel like everything just resonated, made sense, and I really felt like I was heading in this direction that I really needed to be going in to live an optimal life.
What often happens because you've been living life and you've been allowing and not allowing, and in the receiving mode and not in the receiving mode, and really, if you're like most people, putting a lot into your vortex. And then when you first begin to consciously hear or remember this stuff that you know from your very core, so that resonant feeling is within you, then often there's a really exhilarating period of time when you just allow, in a stronger way, more manifestation of more things. And so you sort of kind of get it, and the evidence gives sort of stronger credence to the fact that you've got it. But then that begins to feel a little normal, and you sort of get into a little bit of complacency, and then you don't feel the big rush. It's sort of like you pull a rubber band back far enough. When you let go of it, it's going to go really, really far. But if you go, then you don't have that big rush. So what are you experiencing? We felt a big butt coming on here.
It was a few months after I was introduced to you, I found out that I had this very rare...
You could all say that about everything.
Oh, yeah.
But we get what you mean.
I know that everything has happened to me for a reason. There's a reason for this. And I feel like I was that rubber band, back and forth. And I feel like I almost manifested this with just not being in alignment.
We have a question for you, and don't spend a lot of time trying to figure out the answer, but the answer matters, and we're not putting any pressure on you, but just sort of rest for it a little bit and then let it flow. Does it feel to you, knowing what you know, feeling who you are, and as often as you are in alignment, in other words, the you that you gather around the most often, so does it feel to you that this is about you having done something really wrong, or is it about you wanting something really a lot, and this is an avenue for you to get that?
Initially, I felt as if this was a punishment, but it's not. I feel like it's a blessing, and I feel as if...
So tell us what blessings you've already discovered in it. The power of focus, the importance of not letting the condition be what dominates your thought, being able to choose around a condition, caring enough about how you feel that you're able to choose around a condition. And therefore, you can accomplish anything, yes? It doesn't matter how big conditions are, you can think around them.
Yes.
That's pretty good, because most people don't have that opportunity. Most people are in a position where they can be sloppy, lazy thinkers.
Correct. After I found out I had to go in for the surgery, and it was insane the amount of people that just came out of the woodwork to support me through this, that I felt like gave me my own internal power.
The question that we have for you now is, does it feel to you that there's a criticalness and an urgency or an importance to your thought, to the way you direct your thought? Because you could get that impression from what we said before. Or does it feel to you like your desire is strong enough that you can find simple, easy resonance with your desire, and then it's done? The thing that we're really wanting to point out, people often say, I have this really, really, really big desire, and that makes them think two things. It's going to be really, really hard, and it's going to take really, really a lot of focus, which means it's going to take really, really a lot of time. And we want to convey, and you make it easy, we want to convey that it is as easy to create a castle as a button. It's as easy to attract something that feels really big as it is to attract something that feels really simple. But you have to make the thing that feels really big feel really simple. The rarity of this, the importance of this, the odds of this, all put you in a position where you work against yourself. But when you understand creation is creation, doesn't matter how big it is, it's the same thing that you apply. Doesn't matter how big it is or how rare it is, none of that makes any difference. You want something, your inner being's on it. It is as simple as that. It is not more complicated than that. Isn't that the wonderful message that you would like to give to the world? Because what people do who accomplish in spite of all odds, they give people the impression that creating is difficult, and it isn't. It's simple.
No, and I feel as if I have learned meditation, and I have been applying that in my life. And when I meditate, I feel as if it's at those times some of the most valuable, important concepts or ideas pop into my head and it's just the most simple little things to help me work towards having the most optimal life. Who cares how long I have until I croak, but the most optimal life, and to be able to want to give back to others, to hopefully be able to teach them a lesson on the simplicity of...
There, you said it. There, you got it. The simplicity of it. The simplicity of it. People who have simple things that they're reaching for have a hard time teaching others the simplicity of it, because everybody thinks they already know that. But when you make something that seems complicated to people feel simple to you, and then you simply accomplish what you want, and then you talk about that, now you've done something.
And sometimes I feel as if, sometimes this does not shut up, and it makes things so complicated.
Well, it's all right, because you're always in the receiving mode, but more and more, as it matters to you a lot, and it does, about what receiving mode you're in. And then you feel the pleasure of that receiving mode, and you don't worry about slipping into the other. That's another thing that really helps. We want to say to you in a way that you can really hear, there's nothing serious going on here. There's nothing serious going on here. These are simple laws of the universe. You get what you want. You just got to think about what you want. And so this is an opportunity that's helped you to clarify that.
And the other thing that I have to remember, and this is, and I felt as if when you walked out, nobody else was here except the two of us. And the things that you were saying, it was all directed at me.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel as if I am a ball in a pinball machine, and I just am basically more about bouncing off the things that I don't want. Don't want that, don't want that, don't want that.
It's all right. It's normal, and it's all right. And as we said, how do you know about clarity if you haven't had some confusion? How could you even differentiate the two?
Right. It's true. It's just a matter of being able to take the time after I realize the things that I don't want, that throw me out of the alignment, to actually think about and take the time to think about what I do want. Because you said that, I'll say, okay, don't want that, don't want to be talked to like that, or whatever it is that I don't want, knowing inside that I want something good.
For example, find the phrase that made you say that and give us the phrase. You don't want to be talked to like what? Who said what to you that you don't want to be talked to like that? We're going to show you something.
I feel like I'm very sensitive at times.
Yeah, you are. That's all right. That sensitivity is what helps you get into alignment. I don't want to be talked to like what?
I don't want to...
All right, so here's our answer, even though you couldn't quite formulate the words. But here's the answer, because we know.
Right.
We know. So here's the answer. I don't want these people to carry on with this misunderstanding and promote it among so many. I don't want this to be the dominant thought about these things. I want clarity to come to me through my alignment with all that I am. And I want my power of influence to be enough that I'll be able to influence others into the clarity also. That's really what it is. But before the fact that that has happened, it feels iffy and confusing to you, and that's why you get all wobbly. But after it has happened, then you'll say, I knew that. I saw that coming. Yes?
It's that power. It's the power within
power of what?
Source. The source within myself.
Let's call that power
of myself.
And let's call that power this new word that we've been talking. What's that new power? The influence of my inner being. If you're here for service, if you're here to influence knowledge and clarity, then don't you have to find it first? Can you be guessing and influence it? Can you be making it up? Can you be a hypocrite? Can you be speaking the words but not really feeling it? No.
Can, but it doesn't work.
No. And so you find it and you know it by the relief that you feel at first. At first it feels like relief, and then it feels like exhilaration. And then you don't worry about what anybody else is doing. You just revel in your exhilaration until you're so stable there that nothing else is you. And when you've got a strong desire like this, that's something that is so likely to happen, you see. Sometimes you come with bigger intentions than others, and that's a big one. It's going to serve you really well.